Wondered how a massive company makes sure that every single product they make, from the first to the millionth, is absolutely perfect? How do they guarantee consistency and quality every single time? Well, in the world of SAP quality management, it all boils down to getting your basic data right. And today, we're going to break down those foundational building blocks that every great inspection plan is built on. So, here's our game plan. First, we'll touch on why we even need to plan for quality. Then, we'll look at the structure of the inspection plan itself. Think of it as our blueprint. After that, we'll dive into the essential building blocks of data you'll need. We'll see how it all comes together with a real-world example, and we'll wrap up with the one key idea you absolutely need to remember. All right, let's start at the beginning. Why bother with all this detailed planning? Why go through all the trouble? Well, it really all comes down to solving one huge, universal challenge: consistency. I mean, just imagine this for a second. Your company gets a delivery of 10,000 LED lamps. How on earth do you make sure that every single one of them is up to snuff? How do you know that lamp number 9,999 is just as good as lamp number 1? It sounds like a massive headache, right?
Well, the answer is actually simpler than you might think, but it's also incredibly powerful. It all starts with a plan. A really solid, repeatable, and crystal clear plan that tells everyone exactly what to do every single time.
And that plan, in SAP, is called the inspection plan. The best way to think of it is like the master blueprint for your entire quality process. It's the document that guides your team on what to check, where to check it, and exactly how to do it. And just like a real blueprint, it has layers. At the very top, you've got the plan header. Think of this as the cover sheet. It's got all the general info. Then you have your inspection operations, which are like the big tasks you need to do. And finally, you get down to the nitty-gritty, the inspection characteristics. These are the exact specific measurements or checks you have to perform. Okay, but here's the catch. Before you can even start drawing up that blueprint, you need your materials, right? You need your bricks and your tools. In SAP, we call these our building blocks. And these are the reusable bits of data that a planner has to set up before they can even create the plan. This prep work is what makes the whole system so powerful and consistent. Now, the most important building block of them all is the Master Inspection Characteristic, or MIC for short. This little gem is a master record that defines exactly what you're inspecting, say power consumption, and how you're inspecting it. The beauty is, you create it once, and then you can reuse it in hundreds of different plans. Just think of the time you'd save. And these MICs basically come in two flavors. You've got your qualitative checks. These are more descriptive, like a simple yes or no. Is the packaging correct? And then you have your quantitative checks, which are all about the numbers. What's the exact power consumption in watts? You really need both to get the full quality picture.
All right, next building block, the sampling procedure. Let's go back to our 10,000 lamps. Are you really going to check every single one? Probably not. It's just not practical. This is the rule that tells the system exactly how many items to grab from that huge batch to inspect.
So you could use a fixed sample, which is pretty straightforward. Just inspect the outer box once per delivery. Simple. Or, for something more critical, like power usage, you might use a percentage sample. Let's test 5% of all the lamps that came in. It's all about picking the right strategy for the right check. And our final building block is catalogs. Now, this one is all about keeping your data clean and consistent. Catalogs are just predefined lists. They make sure that when your inspectors are recording what they find, they're all using the exact same terms. No typos, no confusion, just standardized data. So for example, when the inspector is checking the packaging, instead of them typing out wood shavings or that puffy paper stuff, they just pick from a simple drop-down list that you've already defined. Wood wool, paper, or plastic foil. Boom! It's clean, it's consistent, and it's perfect for reporting later. All right, this is where the magic happens. We've got our blueprint structure, and we've got our building blocks all lined up. Now let's see how a quality planner actually puts this all together for our shipment of LED lamps. So, the truck has arrived, the lamps are on the dock. The planner's job is to create the inspection plan to check two key things. First, the packaging, and second, the power consumption of the lamps themselves. So for the first check, the packaging, watch how this works. The planner grabs that qualitative mic for packaging. Then they link it to the packaging types catalog, which gives the inspector that nice drop-down menu. And finally, they attach the fixed sampling procedure to just inspect it one time. It's like putting together Legos. Okay, now for the power consumption. This is a bit more critical, right?
So this time, the planner grabs the quantitative MRIC for power consumption. And because it's a key function, they apply the percentage sampling procedure to inspect 5% of all the lamps. See how that works? You just pick and choose the right building blocks for each specific check.
So, after seeing all of that in action, what's the big lesson here? What's the one thing a quality planner absolutely has to get right? Why does all this structure and prep work matter so much? Here it is, the key takeaway. You absolutely cannot build a house before you have the bricks. And you cannot create an inspection plan until you've defined your basic data, your MICs, your sampling procedures, and your catalogs. That preparation, that upfront work, is the absolute foundation for everything else. You know, the kind of quality and reliability that customers expect and demand, that doesn't just happen by chance. It's not an accident. It is always the result of careful, thoughtful planning built on a solid foundation of data. So I'll leave you with this to think about. What would happen if just one of those building blocks was wrong? What if the sampling procedure was set up incorrectly, or the catalog was missing a key option? What kind of real-world problems could that one tiny mistake cause down the line? Something to chew on.